So why is Danielle Walters' content and relationship so controversial? What makes it so unhealthy? Why are people calling her out so much? Why are we even making this video? Well, hello, welcome back to Anna's Random. My name's Anna. If you missed the first part of this series, then I would recommend going and watching that video, because we do a bit of an introduction into Danielle Walter and the girl that she was before she met Lucas. We did a deep dive on the reels that she posted about the guy she dated before she met Lucas and her first date with Lucas, which was questionable, and the things she was saying were definitely indicating some kind of love bombing going on. And again, if you haven't watched that video, first of all, go watch that video. But also, I do talk about the fact that the reason I'm making this series is because I have my own experience with love bombing and toxic relationships and narcissists and that kind of thing. So that's what the biggest motivator really that made me want to make this video after watching this whole thing go down myself on Instagram. So yeah, if you are unfamiliar, again, go watch that video. But welcome to part 2, where we're going to be deep diving into their second and third dates, because things get even messier. But before we do that, I was doing a bit of a test because somebody mentioned in my comment section of my last video that the audios, that, like, when I'm reacting to videos, my voice is coming through quite quiet, which I do understand. I get it. I have been trying to mess around with the volume a little bit. If anybody has any OBS experience or advice about how to mess with the settings of this, that would be great, because this is my first time really using this software in this kind of way. So would recommend, if anyone has any advice, to leave that in the comments. I also want to mention, because in the last video, again, saying it again, go watch it if you haven't, but we mentioned how when she met Lucas at the gym, her kind of debrief video, one of the things she mentioned on their first date, actually, before their first date, was that she didn't know how tall he was. Now, I had a bit of a freak out about that. I was like, how on earth did she not know how tall he was? Because they were literally, I mean, she was apparently sitting down when they were having their initial conversation in the gym. Apparently, allegedly, this is what she was saying in the video. And somebody commented on that video and was basically like, so there's a theory that Lucas, she didn't actually meet him at the gym. Oh, no. He was her Uber driver, and that is not only why she didn't know how tall he was, but also that's why she was okay with him picking her up on the first date, which is something she did mention. That was basically like, I don't normally let people pick me up on a first date, and I'm being safe. On this occasion, it's safe, guys, which I did think was an odd thing to say. So that person, shout out to that person in the comment section of my last video if you're watching this, because that was a great theory, and I think I did reply to your comments. So, and speaking of comment sections, I was doing a test, like I said, about the audio for this video, and I went on the second date video again. Hang on, that's the wrong software. Whoopsie. But I went on the reel that she made, not on their second date, sorry, on their first date, like the debrief after their first date. And I just want to go through this one particular comment that I found. If you can see it here. Hang on, let me like fix the screen real quick. Like, I didn't even really clock the comment sections. I know I said in my last video I was like possibly going to go through a few of the comment sections on her reels, because if you know, they are a crazy place. It is madness in there, and it's quite entertaining. And this comment here by Erin the Psychic Witch made me really, like, it made me giggle. I was like, girl, you clocked it right there. Now, granted, obviously, this woman right here is most likely not a God-believing person, and again, I mentioned in my last video, I am somebody who does believe in God, but I don't necessarily go about it through the traditional sort of ultra churchy type way, which again we did mention in the last video, so I just want to point that out. But the fact that she literally said, at any time I hear man of God, I think check his phone. Now, this is something I have heard about, this sort of trope of people will be really holy and proclaim to be like really Christian and everything, and actually be dirtbags and will probably cheat on you, and then will come back and try and work through it because God made you do it, or like it was a sin and like you have to go back and work through it to like repent with your sins or whatever. Like, I'm sure we've heard stories like that, right, where the man's just incredibly abusive and a manipulator. And trust me, again, another reason why I wanted to make this series is because I have my own experience with abusive relationships that I mentioned in my last video, that my ex did actually proclaim to be like dead godly, which was a complete lie, turns out. So I just kind of wanted to go through the replies of this because I just thought it was hilarious. A lot of people saying like, yeah, so that the video is just playing on mute, it's fine. But yeah, I just wanted to go through. So yeah, we have a lot of people saying exactly, amen. But then you often get, yeah, so this one says, I'm Brazilian, because Lucas is obviously Brazilian, and she said, all I can say is just be really careful. Someone saying ew, and then later on says, no, I meant ew, that you all think that men who follow Christ should have their phones checked. Okay, that's not what they mean. That's really not what they mean. And here's the thing. You get this in her comment sections as well, with people being like, leave her alone. She's innocent. She's in love. You just don't understand Christianity. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, that's not what we're trying to say here. Like, that is not what we're trying to bash. Like, it goes a lot deeper than that. Like, there are so many, there aren't many defenders in these comment sections and on our content, but they are there. They're not like they do exist, and they are quite funny. So this person says, yes, it's exactly what I feel when I hear man of God. Oh right, no, that I realised that's part of that thread. That's funny. What the fuck? That's a privacy invasion. How can that be incentivized? Well, if someone's cheating on you, then people find a way. Y'all are toxic. We have quite a few of these people in our comment sections quite often. This kind of thing. Sad at how Christians act, right? What I was saying before, this person's probably not a Christian, which, fair enough, but still, her first point was completely valid. I've listened to too many episodes of something. Was wrong podcast, I swear to God. So wholesome and happy, and I'm like screaming red flag. Yeah, exactly. I think Danielle does have a podcast as well. Actually, she did, like, talking about dating advice. Like, absolutely, the vulnerability, not narcissist love, exactly, which is something I did talk about in my last video, how that was how I ended up being loved bombed by my ex, who will mirror her likes and desires until she's hooked, if he's even real. Yeah, so some people at the beginning were doubting he was even real. We do know now he is at least a real person and not AI, because, they've done content together, and she's obviously now engaged. But anyway, so that I just saw that comment and was like, that's actually really hilarious. I love that. Or maybe you're just a rotten picker. This last person from the original commenter, that's not going to work on me. I know Christian men are usually the entire problem. Happily partners, though, so take care. Fair enough, good for her. That's what we love as well, is people who are now in healthy relationships going into comment sections like this and being like, actually, I know better now. So... maybe this person had been through like an abusive situation in the past, maybe with a Christian man who was probably very performative and not actually a good person. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to go through that comment section because I think it was really funny. But we are going to move on now to their second date, and you are going to be shocked about what they're doing on the second date, but we have a lot to discuss when it comes to that video. Okay, so like we established in the last time we did in my last video, she often does just the getting ready process, which we don't necessarily need to see. So this is just a bit more of a talkative thing pre the second date.
Second date, and I am so nervous, but excited, but nervous. Oh, I have to take off my lightning strips. And Charlie needs to go potty. Okay, one thing at a time. All right, this is with Brazilian man. Okay, let me get these out. My God. Oh, it's really on there.
This is gross.
I am back at my home in San Jose for a couple of things, and he just happened to be here, so we are going out. I have no idea where. I'll show you my outfit. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. Here's my outfit.
It's a cute dress.
Shoes.
It's a nice color on her. Just the odd time I will defend her
First
choices.
date turned into like 6 hours, and it went really well. So I feel excited for like the first time in a very long time, like genuine excitement, not like trying to make it work, but really excited. So I'll let you know how it goes. I am about to get picked up on the second date.
So that was a bit of a nothing burger, right? Fair enough, okay? So we get that kind of initial, she's like, oh, I'm excited for the first time in ages. And obviously we established in the last video, she was basically saying like, this man is my husband on the first date, which... so many red flags right there. And there was actually a comment on that video that said intensity is not intimacy. Let that sink in, which I think is very, very important. But anyway, so this will be post the second date.
I just got home and whoa. This might be it.
She's doing it again. Oh, she's doing it again. She's doing it again. She did this at the end of the first date as well. She was like we just said, she was like, this man's my husband. This might be it. Like, I'm cooked, guys. Like, she said she was cooked from the first thing because she was like, this might be it. Like, this might be my husband. I might have actually found the one. And it's like, you don't know this person. And what the ironic thing was as well is that the previous guy she'd gone out with, she was just there like, well, like when it didn't work out, she was like, I've worked on myself so much being an anxious attachment that like, I'm not getting jazzed up for no reason. Like, there's no relationship to mourn with this. So I'm not like getting myself worked up, which we said, okay, that's healthy. But now we have this bullshit. Like, this is why people say this is so unhealthy. And yeah, like there's a comment on this that I'm reading says, like, take a breath, 2 dates isn't connection, it's just getting to know each other, which is crazy that people are having to coach her on her own advice that she was literally saying like one guy that she was dating ago. It's insane. But anyway, let's continue.
We just connect on such a deep level.
No, you don't. It's 2 dates. It's 2 dates. It's like, hang on. It's like she's describing a year in relationship, like a friendship. You ever had a friend that you're just like, mate, we just have like this platonic soul connection, but you don't know that immediately. You establish that over weeks and months of building that relationship, and like a year. This is how she's talking. She is jumping the gun so much. And again, this is why people are calling her out.
Also seen and safe.
No.
And
you don't know this
taken care of.
She said that on the first date as well.
It's weird to date someone who actually likes you. Turns out.
You don't know that until, again, at least until the third date, maybe. That isn't out of everything isn't the craziest statement she said. I mean, they're all a bit insane because she's getting love bombed to shit. We've already established this. But the way that she's like, which, you know, yes, it is nice to date somebody who actually likes you. And, like, I'm sure that I'm not alone in dating some absolute losers who just date for the sake of it and don't actually care and then will leave you in the mud. I have been there too many times to admit. So this is it's a reasonable statement, but again, in the context that she's saying this, again, this is the second date with the guy. It's just not realistic and it's not healthy.
He has invited me to his birthday, which is...
We're gonna talk about this because that's gonna be their third date. Clock that right there. Clock the fact that that when they first met, which is also another reason why I believe that theory that somebody left in the comments, is the fact that that Lucas was telling her he was going to teach her how to surf immediately when they first met, which was my initial red flag. Like, why are you? That's such a weird thing to say to a girl, like, right off the bat. But also, like, I'm sure we've all had like these conversations with Uber drivers before, where it just becomes like randomly like, let's just get to know each other because we're complete strangers. Like, I was going to some event thing, I don't know, and I like legitimately I started it was 2024, it wasn't even 2025, and I was having like this real I ended up just having this really deep like political conversation with this Uber driver that I was with on the way to the event. Like, we were talking all things about like why I didn't vote anymore. We were talking about like free speech. He was like, free Julian Assange, and I was like, hell yeah, you know, stuff like that. It was like the most random thing. And I'm sure we've all had, like, again, these random, like, just Uber driver conversations. But most of the time, I will say, if I'm getting into an Uber, I am, like, just take me to the place. This is just the tism in me just leaking out, I guess. But most of the time, I'm, like, antisocial because of social anxiety. And I'm just like, you have one job, that's just get me to the place. But sometimes, if I'm in the mood for that, and if the guy is, like, initiating a conversation, then yeah, I'll have a bit of a chat. That's fine. Like, if someone's asking me like what I'm here for, or again, we'll just get to know each other, and like maybe they'll say like how they ended up being an Uber driver, how they ended up in the area. Like the last time I was in London, we were like that with one of the Uber drivers, and it's just like one of those things. But you don't. So that, again, that just kind of makes the theory of the fact this guy was one of her Uber drivers a little bit more realistic, I guess, which is funny. I just think it's the funniest theory I've heard out of everything. I can't even really remember why I even started talking about that, but anyway.
In a few days, no, today is, what is today? It's in 4 days, and he's like, wants me to come to that, which I'm so excited for, and he's like, I want to see you before that too.
Okay.
Wow.
Forward. Very, very forward.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so that was post, and the caption says, I'm flustered. We've got a person in the comments over here as well that's, you can't read it. You can't see it, but it is like this comment right here. I'm going to read it for you. It says, isn't she in her 30s? Also, I should note as well, the comments on all of her posts have been limited, which, of course, they fucking have, because the way that she is just, it's just so unhealthy. But anyway, so there's this comment, and this is a verified account as well. This isn't like some random person. Isn't she in her 30s? This is an adult woman. She can trust her intuition. She's not a teenager. Sometimes you... Oh, wait, no, this is a defender. Wait, oh no, I thought this was somebody, like, ripping into it. Oh dear. Oh dear. So this is somebody saying, like, isn't she in her 30s? She should have an intuition. Which is something that we actually mentioned in the last video that I made, the first part of this series, was the fact that, like, because she proclaims to be so close to God, and I'm also quite close to God, like, spiritually, and, like, the one thing I said that I built up the most is intuition. She has no intuition. This is why, because she, like, rejected some guy on, like, the first kiss because she'd said it was too soon on the second date. I mean, we don't know whether they've kissed yet or whatever on this situation, because I can't remember when she actually mentions that. We'll find out. I'm sure we'll find out. But sorry, I didn't realize. I thought that was somebody like doing like a big paragraph to sort of like say like, doesn't she have an intuition? And I was gonna be like, that's what I said, but no, I didn't realize that was actually just somebody full on defending her, which cringe. So cringe. And she was like, I'm happy for her. If she gets a red flag, I'm sure the Lord will reveal it in her intuition. Well, clearly not. And, you know, somebody who has a very strong intuition, you don't just rush into things like this, because if you don't have a very strong intuition, you will just rush into things and not question everything. If you have a strong intuition, you question everything. You question everything. You do not get excited over things you're not familiar with yet. You do nothing like that. Nothing like that. Okay, she is not exhibiting any of that. So screw you, random commenter. Okay, let's move on to their third date, which, yes, is going to be his birthday, where she meets his parents and his friends and everything, which for a third date is just, it's absolutely insane.
I actually have the prettiest dress I just got. I'm so excited. Look at it.
Wedding dress immediately.
Put it on.
Wait, sorry. Okay, we are actually going to move.
I'm about to get picked up for a third date. Let me take off my whitening strip.
Why does she whiten her teeth every time?
This date is...
This is just because she whitens her teeth, like, before every date now, I've noticed. And aren't those bad for you? Like, aren't those kind of bad, like whitening treatments and stuff? Like, if you do too many of them, isn't it, like, actually kind of bad for the enamel? I feel like I heard that somewhere, but you don't actually need that, but it's fine.
Unique because it's actually his birthday, and he invited me to his birthday party.
It's terrible. Sorry, I just have to point out there's a comment underneath it that says you dressed like that to meet his parents. Oh yeah, because everybody thinks that the fact she's got like a low cut dress is dead scandalous. Now listen, if you watch my last video, you know that I'm not I don't subscribe to the whole modesty thing. She kind of does in a way, because she is quite churchy. But, you know, she's got girls, so she should be showing them off, and that's my only way I'll defend her on this.
where a bunch of his friends are gonna be, and I didn't know it at the time, but I found out after, his parents too.
Yeah.
So,
why did
needless to say,
It's his birthday. Of course his parents are going to be there. If he's having like a big get together, then of course his parents are going to be there. That was the point. That was the point. He probably tried to hide that from her to make it look kind of natural, but he clearly was hiding that from her because he didn't want to come across like immediately like a red flag, but that is quite obviously a red flag.
I'm nervous. I feel great when I'm with him, but like the lead up to this, let's just say a lot of nervous pooping, okay?
She's talking about, oh god, she's doing the nervous pooping thing again. We don't need to know. We don't need to know. We don't need to know.
Here's my outfit. Let me show you. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. Here's my outfit.
Cream dress. She's already planning
really
the engagement at this point. Already.
It's like a combination birthday party with another person, and he was like already there helping set up, and literally was like, let me know when you're ready and I'll come get you. Hello, yes. So we love that.
Okay.
And I'm excited to see him. Things are moving very fast. Okay, I know that. I understand that. And I'm trying to keep myself paced and grounded. And I know the first date we went on, I was like, this could be my husband, which it still could be. But I am very excited. I haven't been this excited about someone.
That's the only bit of self-awareness we get this whole time. So cherish that. Cherish that. Okay? Just, oh my god.
In a really, really long time. And he's just great. So, I'll let you know how it goes. I'm about to get picked up.
Okay, right. Let's go to the debrief. So this is the debrief video. The caption is the caption is things are escalating. So, oh my god. And there's already a comment that says, "Hi, am I the only one that thinks this is too fast, too soon, and kind of sounds like love bombing?" And everyone says, "Yeah, you're not the one. You know, you're not the only one." Exactly. Yep. Yeah, and then we've got another person who's trying to defend Danielle, saying, "Yup, just you. My parents knew each other 2 weeks before getting engaged, and we're together 46 years until my dad passed, and they've still been together. Fast is subjective." Okay. Let me just let me just actually talk about that kind of comment for a second, because there are a few people in our comment sections who will say stuff like this, and it is interesting because, now listen, here's about family law for you all. So my parents were together 3 months before they got engaged, and I am the living proof, my trauma is the living proof of the fact that that was not healthy. Okay? And I think this is something else that is a thing in Christian dating as well, and dating when you're not fully like consciously sorted out with your problems and you don't exactly know yourself very well and you're just going about it all wrong, you can end up in a very bad situation. Now, I'm not going to go into that because there are multi layers, and maybe in a future video we will dive into that in like a more mental healthy advice content, which I have done in the past. So yeah, but anyone that is promoting this, listen, I understand that you can know fairly soon in that you are very compatible with the person, you really like them, and you may be having thoughts of, hey, this would be nice if this is the one and we end up getting married. And like we're girls, we have imaginations about our wedding all the time. Sometimes if you're dating somebody and, you know, you're daydreaming one day, you might think of this person at your wedding, but you don't think too much into it. That's normal, right? But again, like we say in the other videos, this is not healthy. What she's doing right now on this whole thing is not healthy. This is love bombing. This is too quick. This is too soon. This is what love bombing is by definition. It's like you give somebody such an intense, seemingly positive connection, like emotional attention and all this stuff, to make them think that they're in a fairy tale, this is a whirlwind, all this stuff. And to his credit, he's been keeping this up a long time, because this is what they were together like 8 months before they got engaged. So, you know, he's been keeping this up a long time. Now, bearing in mind, again, another bit of lore, because when I talk about my last relationship, my ex, I was actually engaged to him in the last 2 months, for the last 2 months of our relationship, and that shit was planned from day one. Again, I was very vulnerable. I didn't know about all this stuff yet. I had no education, no experience whatsoever with dating properly, anything, right? I'd only been screwed over by like one guy consistently, which is, again, is another story for another video. My God. But the reason why that was so easy for me to be lulled into this plan was, again, because I was love bombed and I didn't know what that was, and I just thought that, oh, this is fine and we're just gonna go along with it. And yeah, I was engaged for we got engaged on our 1 year anniversary, which was something he talked about since pretty much day one. And yeah, it took 2 months after that fact for me to realize what was happening and then actually get out of it, because it escalated to the point where it was getting like quite dangerous for me. And that was the point where my brain kicked in and was like, this can't be right. And then I started telling people, and that's how we ended up getting out. And yeah, so this whole thing, and that's another thing about this relationship that we are going to talk about in future episodes of this series, is that this engagement was planned, and they talk about having a timeline and everything aligned with the timeline that they had. And again, this is why I wanted to make this series, because I have the experience, as I just told you, with this kind of thing, and I know that it's not healthy. So anyway, third date debrief, meeting the parents. Let's go.
Let's debrief. That was a great day. It's his birthday, and it was a birthday party, a combination birthday party with a bunch of people there, friends, but also his parents. So I met his parents. And it was such a good party. They had such good food and music and dancing, and we had some drinks. It was just good, you know, like wholesome, joyous fun.
Okay.
And
good for you, girl. Good for you that you had a lovely, wholesome time at this guy's birthday party. Sorry, the freeze frame. Sorry, girl. Yeah, you had a lovely, wholesome time with this guy you've known for 5 minutes. Great. Brilliant. Sorted. Also, another thing that I want to mention in terms of the whole like love bombing thing and narcissists is they will often have their family involved. They will often have their family also indoctrinated with the way that they are, convincing them to just go along with everything that they say, and also convincing them that anything anybody else says against them, they're the problem, not the person doing the gossiping, right? So, you know what I mean? Like, so anything to do with, oh yeah, she met the parents on like the third date, they're probably just as bad as he is. They're probably just as bad. They're probably used to this as well. And it's just like, it's one of those things. I wonder if Lucas has ever been engaged before. I wonder what his relationship history is. I wonder what that situation is like, okay? Because, again, a little bit of lore with the relationship that I went through. My ex had 2 previous exes before me, like big exes before me, who he'd also been engaged to within a short space of time, which at the time did come across a bit, that's interesting and a bit weird, but as the relationship progressed and the abuse continued, like the abuse escalated, like it was such a, and especially since I started, like when I started doing the healing once I got out, that was the most glaring thing of like, oh my god, this guy is an actual psychopath, because there was a pattern there. So I would love to know what Lucas's dating history is, because that could be very telling, but I don't know if we actually find out about that.
And but from the beginning, he went early to like help set up, and then he came back to pick me up to take me there.
Yeah, this is something she does mention. Which okay, fair enough, cute. Very cute.
So gentlemanly. I was a little bit nervous about like what to get him, since we're so relatively new. Like I'm still getting to know him.
Not relatively new. You are new.
But it's his birthday,
you are
so
new.
I want to get him something. So I consulted with some friends, and they're like, just get him a card and like write him a note. So I spent some time writing a note to him, and in his birthday card, and then I brought some wine for him and for the other person whose birthday it was.
Okay,
but he had a gift for me.
Why?
Which he got me a book that he really enjoys, and he wrote me a note in it, which I just died.
What the what in the fantasy land? Who does that? Who does that unless you're trying to manipulate somebody? Who does that unless you're trying to manipulate somebody? That is insane. I didn't even properly clock what she said when I was doing the research for this video. Like, that is what on earth, honestly? What do you mean that it's his birthday and obviously someone else's birthday as well, but he got her a gift and wrote her a note? When she wrote the note in the car, something tells me that that is either not real or just adding another layer of manipulation. I'm kind of speechless about that.
It's just so sweet, so thoughtful,
so weird, so manipulative, so love bombing.
Anyway, so we get there and I meet everyone. Everyone's so nice, and we danced together, which was so
you said there was
sweet
dancing,
and fun, and just good conversations. And
it's always the conversation with this guy.
So it's going really well.
We know.
And I'm really happy.
We know. You should not be this happy 3 dates in. You should not have met his parents 3 dates in. You should not. No. Oh, again, there are so many bad things about this. It's just the way it's this euphoric feeling, which again comes with love bombing, especially when you are experiencing for the first time and you don't know what it is. You do get that sort of like euphoria, fantasy, like fairy tale, like this is my princess storyline, like this is incredible, I've never been loved like this, I am so happy, I'm so looked after, he came back and picked me up, like it's like, again, this is just screaming love bombing to me. And don't get me wrong, we are going to talk about the fact that she is the problem as well sometimes, and we talked about that a little bit in the last video. But honestly, she's getting manipulated in this scenario. It's quite obviously clear.
Feel very seen.
She
and
said
appreciated
that before.
And
appreciated and seen.
It's just really good. So I'll keep you in the loop. Bye. Okay.
So that was the third date video. Now, should we do the fourth? I don't know whether to split this up. I feel like I should split this up. I should keep you. I should keep you on here because as you scroll up the little collection of videos that I made, it doesn't take too long. Like, look, pre-date debrief with potential future husband. She keeps using this language. She says that he picks her up for church, and we're gonna go through all of this, and then. That is where my collection stops right now for when he asks her to be his girlfriend. So I think in the next video, we're probably going to do all of the rest of this up to when he asks her to be his girlfriend, because after that, she does leave the internet for a while, and then she comes back with the infamous park bench where they're both sat there talking about how the comments are really mean and everything's wrong and we just knew and it was all God, and then he talks a little bit and it's very bizarre. It is very strange. But yeah, I wanted to make this video just to showcase how quickly this is going from the get-go, first of all. Also, we read through some comment sections, as you know, so this has been fun. This has been fun, and we will continue this series because there is so much that we can learn from this. This is a prime internet case study of what not to do in dating. If you need all of the education on any kind of warning signs and red flags about love bombing and manipulation, make sure to subscribe to my channel because like I said, we're gonna go through all of this whole timeline, this entire timeline, and also go and have a sneaky look yourself at some of the comment section under those if you want a bit of a laugh. It's crazy. It is insane. And, you know, like I've been saying, you know, this is a big reason why I wanted to make this video, like this video series, because I'm so passionate about this topic, and I'm so passionate about spreading awareness about love bombing and toxicity when it comes to relationships and men, and just making sure that you protect your peace and you know what to look out for, because there are some horrible people out there. Once you realize that the world is really run by narcissists, like, it becomes so much easier to navigate the world. Like, seek out where the problems are, trust and believe, okay, and then that then leads you on to your path of peace. And, you know, I'm going to be sharing all of my own life advice as well that relates to all of this as this series goes on. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave it a like. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Leave a comment with all your thoughts as always. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. You know what to do. And all my social media, as always, will be at the end of this video in a very iconic outro that I've had since the beginning of this channel, like 10 years ago now, which is crazy. And I'm really enjoying this new format of content as well, so make sure to stick around for that. Again, call me your new favorite drama channel. This is going to be a fun old time over here, and I will see you guys in the next one.